I wish YouTube would let me use Metallica's Enter Sandman for the start of my videos. Hello there, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, July the 27th, I think. I'm questioning it because on the radio this morning she said the wrong date, and I was like, that doesn't sound right. It's the 27th, 2016, and I am here with my next update. Probably should tell you who I am. My name is Jessie Marie, and I am here for a floss tube update. I don't know why introducing myself is so complicated. I know my name. But anyway, so hello, how's it going? I am here with a regularly scheduled update, and as always, I've got a ton to talk about. But before I get into that, there is one rather large absence that you may have noticed, and that is the lack of Bulldog. So last week was wonderful, and thanks everybody for all of your kind comments about Thor and stories about other bulldogs and whatnot. I really, really enjoyed that, and so did Thor. But he is a bowling ball today, and he will not stay out of the things that I need him to stay out of, so there won't be any Thor presents today. Sorry about that. But my hope is that he will make an appearance on my videos more often, maybe in the coming weeks. I don't know. We'll see. Just not today, because he's cray-cray. It's probably because I left the house today, and so now he's like, where'd you go? I missed you, you know, like all up in my space. Anyway, in the introduction, I mentioned that I wished that YouTube would let me use Metallica's Enter Sandman in the introduction of my videos. As of today, we are 39 days away from the first Virginia Tech football game. Hence the reason I am wearing Start Jumping. On the back it says, you can sit down when you graduate. This, if you don't know, Enter Sandman is the song that Virginia Tech players come out to during home games, and the entire crowd jumps when Enter Sandman starts playing. If you haven't seen it, I highly suggest you look it up on YouTube. It's an experience. Anyway, I'm getting super excited about football season. I've decided that I'm over summer and I'm ready for it to be fall. So one of the first heralds of fall, so to speak, is football season. So expect the countdown, the start of each of my videos here in with the next coming weeks. So yeah, football, introduction. Shall we talk cross stitch? I figure that's what we're here for, right? I mean, usually it's kind of what we're here for. So we'll go ahead and get started. I do have some works in progress to show you, some sals that I've made some progress on, as well as my future plans. I have some of my August plans, as well as my plans for the upcoming week. So we'll go ahead and get started. I am aided today by Starbucks. Oh, I also have just the smallest amount of retail therapy, and then I want to talk about a Stitcher's Book Club with you real quick. So we'll go ahead and get started. I've got everything organized. I don't have as many to show you, so I expect today's video might be a little bit shorter. Fingers crossed. It takes so long for the long ones to upload. Yesterday you might have seen my Stitch Mania sort of slideshow style for the Stitch Mania Summer Olympics. And that video is less than 4 minutes, and it uploaded, I kid you not, within 15 minutes. I was like, what is this? Anyway, so I am going to start with the Crazy 7. The Crazy 7 finished up last week. After my video last Wednesday, I had 2 more days. And so these are the last 2 starts for that. The Crazy 7 was being hosted by Cross Stitch and Discuss, by the way, on Facebook. So my project for day 6 was this Alessandra Adelaide. This is Recipe for a Magical Night. And this is just the black and white version. The real version is very colorful. mine is going to be extra colorful. So I am stitching this on a 28 count. I really think it might be 32 count at less measure, but whatever, we'll call it 28 count. This is a Lugana in Misty Morning from Under the Sea Fabrics. So it's purples with some pale pink bits. And as I talked about, I am doing sort of a grab and go style with stitching this, kind of. But I am using just a bunch of Most Sale and Fiberlicious cottons to complete this design because I figure lots of color, it'll work. So here is the progress that I got. Oh, hey, look, more Virginia Tech colors. How fun. All right, I'm going to fold this up so that I can bring it in close. So I got a good chunk of this bit. I'm going to call them bits because I need a vague term. So this bit, I got the most of it done. And then this is just the very start of this one. And let's see, the first one that I used here, this one is Wednesday by Mosaic, which I think is kind of perfect. I mean, I record on Wednesdays and it's maroon and orange. It has more of a reference to the Addams Family, but you know, whatever, we'll go with it. So maroon and orange, Wednesday was the first one I used. And that's by Mose. And then these two up here are both Fiberlicious cottons. And I can't remember the names of them, but I have them right here. There are two colors there. The first one is Peony Blush. And I'm going to pull the thread out of the bag so that you can see it. So it's shades of pink and purple. And then the dark purple is Cornflower, which is shades of dark purple into like a blue purple. There is Cornflower. Again, Fiberlicious. And so you can see there's a little bit of the hot pink and then the dark shades and then more of the hot pink. And I'm going to pull my pattern up here real quick so that you can see. So the maroon and orange one is this striped one right here in the center. And then the purpley one with the Fiberlicious is this one that kind of curves around it. And you can kind of see that it's a little bit striped. So there's that. And that's the progress that I got done. It was just an hour. This is a really scary process for me. I have decided that, so the color version of the pattern, this one right here is red with black stripes. So I'm going to do the single stitch stripes in black still, but I pulled a red thread and I just sort of grabbed all the ones that I have in that bag there that have red in them, and then I closed my eyes and picked one. So that's that. This one is, it's a light purple and a dark purple that are striped, and then they are wrapped in an orange. So I'm still going to do the single stitch border on this one in orange. And then I grabbed all of my threads that were in the bag that had purple, and I closed my eyes and I grabbed two. And that's loosely what I'm doing. It's really scary because I don't ever know what I'm going to get. I think it's going to work out okay though. There's going to need to be some hand holding throughout this process. But anyway, so that was my day 6 start. Okay. One of these days I'm going to remember that I told you guys that I was going to pull stuff out ahead of time, but today is not that day. Okay. My last start for the Crazy 7. Celtic Santa's Scotland Santa by Mill Hill. And I will go ahead and pull this out to show you the progress that I've made. Okay. Make sure I'm showing you this the right way. Okay. So it looks like a Rorschach's test, I'm aware. But what you see here is his hand that's kind of holding his belt. And then this hand is the one that's resting on top of the cross. And this is a little bit of his leg peeking out underneath the kilt. So let me show that so that you know what I'm talking about. So the hand kind of holding his belt, the one on top of the cross, and the leg peeking out underneath the kilt. So that is my Scotland Santa. This one is different. It is like, there's so much stitching in this one without a whole lot of beads. I mean, there's a ton of beads that came with the kit, but not a whole lot of beads that are used. So there's that. Alright. This one has a ton of thread colors. I think there's 19 thread colors for this one. So it's pretty expensive. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So that was the end of Crazy 7. That was a blast. It was a lot of fun. I am probably going to participate in the next Crazy 7. I don't know when it is. But I've decided that I think I might use the Blimey Cat Stitches method of these sort of start-a-thon events. In that the next one, if I complete my project for day 1, then I will let myself have a new start for the next Crazy 7. If not, then I will work on that whip that day. I think I'm going to try to do that. So, that is that. Alright, so next we're going to move into stitch-alongs and the progress that I made on those this last week. So the first thing was for It's a Sunshine Day. I was working on May by the Cricket Collection, and you'll be seeing a preview here of what that looked like the last time you saw it, when I was part the way through the week. And here is where I got to now. So not a whole lot of progress was made after my last video last week, but I mean, I'm pretty pleased with what I was able to accomplish. So I think I had this thistle started and I finished that one up. And then I worked this flower over here. I'm missing one of the colors because I'm missing like 14 colors, I think, out of DMC, and I happen to need them. It's ridiculous. And then I finished out the beehive, and then I moved over and did a little bit of the wart frog for the A. And then I put this down because, as you'll see in a minute, I got a little bit of Cricket Collection hangover, and so yeah, a little bit done. But this is what this one will look like finished, so you can see that there. Okay, so that one I finished up on Thursday, and then Friday I switched to week 4 of It's a Sunshine Day. This is a month-long in Stitch Mania. I don't think I mentioned that. And my week 4 is the Cricket Collection, and this one is summer. So this is one of the seasonal ones, but same style. And you'll be seeing a clip here of what it looked like the last time I showed it to you. This I am stitching on 32 count Pastel Lilac Belfast Linen by Zweigart, and this is what it will look like finished. So basically all I had done last time was the sunflower itself. Now this piece I am technically supposed to be carrying through the end of the month, but I am done. I have decided that I did enough to satisfy the stitch along and my own rules, because let's face it, Stitch Mania Sal rules are pretty lax, which is wonderful. And here's where I got to. So the sunflower was done. I finished up the M, which is going to be very hard to see because I haven't backstitched it yet. This fabric, while it is pastel lilac, it's barely pastel, it's barely lilac. And that is being stitched in off-white. So I'm going to have to backstitch it so that it stands out a little bit more. And then I finished up the U, as well as all of its bits on the inside. The only thing I haven't done on the inside of the U is the backstitch, which is fine. And then I got started on the S. And the S is going to have to be backstitched as well. Most of the letters in this are majority white, so they'll have to be backstitched with something. Maybe yellow. or maybe the accent colors in the predominantly white letters, maybe they'll be backstitched with the accent color. Who knows? We'll see. That is a problem for another day because this has got to go away. I think I called it quits yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. I was like, you know what? I'm going to finish out the U and then we'll just call it there. So yeah, so that happened. Can't believe that I got Cricut Collection burnout, but you know, when you work on so much of the same style for so long, you can't help it. Can't help it. That's why I'm not a one whip at a time person. Okay. Next. The next stitch along was on the 24th, and it was the Stitch Mania Color a Day Challenge. This time it was back in black. And I, as I discussed with you guys, was going to work on my Raven Queen by Mirabilia. You'll be seeing a clip here of what it looked like last time. Here is what she will look like finished. And here is the progress that I made. I am stitching this on, by the way, a 32 count Belfast in Haunted by Picture This Plus. So I got a fair amount of black done. The black that I'm using, by the way, is Anchor 403. So I worked on this side first, and I got this long stretch done. And then I flipped over here and worked a little bit down this little triangle section of black and filled in a little bit of the scrolly bits there. So not too shabby for about an hour's worth of work. Wanted to give this so much more time, but I couldn't do it. Working on cells, I'm giving an hour, and then I have to put it down because I'm going to spend too much time on these things. So there's that. And fortunately, I'm getting on in the alphabet here, so this will come out for its whip day here pretty soon. Before too long. Okay. Next, we have on the 25th, it was the Stitch Mania's Winter Holidays in July. This was this past Monday. Winter Holidays, Christmas in July, etc., etc. I chose to work on my Lizzy Kate jingles. This is some of her smaller charts, and they were organized together. You'll be seeing a preview here of what it looked like last time. Now this project actually got 2 days worth of work because it was also a whip on Saturday. Saturday. So it got 2 days worth of work, about an hour each day. It didn't have a whole lot of whip time on Saturday because Dana and I went on a Pokemon date. So essentially I was working on this block here. Now this block is Ho Ho Holidays. And do I have... I do, but it's in the bag. I'm going to pull it out of the bag. While I'm retrieving that, this is being stitched on the called for fabric, and it's a special cut from the Silver Needle. It's 32 count Amber Linen by Witchelt. Okay, so this is the block that I was working on, and you will notice a distinct lack of reindeer on mine stitched. That's because I'm stitching this all in the required week's dye works, and I'm missing so many of the colors. So that's why there are gigantic holes. Obviously this block isn't finished, and this one is got so much left to do. But that's okay because this piece is going away for a little while. I absolutely love this, and I want to have it hanging in my house for the holidays, but that's not going to happen probably at least next year, if not 2018, because it's just not a focus for me right now. So that is that. Okay, last but not least, stitch along for yesterday. Yesterday, July the 26th, was in cross stitch finish line. It was the Now I Know My ABCs, the letter B. And as you may know, I am working on the Prairie Schooler alphabet. And so I worked on B is for Blackbird. I also had to do a little bit of stitching on A, just so that I was making sure I was lining everything up correctly, because I am stitching them 9 letters to a piece of fabric. My fabric is 40 count Platinum Newcastle by Zweigart. So essentially, what I did yesterday, I only worked one color yesterday, but I stitched this little bit. This is a part of A, and then this block down here, so that I could line up the block for B. And so I got much of the B bottom border done. So when I talked to you guys after I worked on the A block, I talked about the fact that I worked on nothing that started with A. So I made sure that this time around I worked on a whole bunch of B. So I worked on the bottom border. I did the negative space B, as well as these other 2 B's here. And all of this stitching was DMC 3371, and that's black, brown. So like all of the B's. Oh, and my needle minder was a bulldog. So yeah, just had to focus on the letter B for the day. So I did. And that's the progress that I got done. So this will come back out for C is for cow on August the 26th. Okay. All right. Now let's move on to regular old whips that I've worked on in the last week. The first whip was the my project for my week 3, and in my newly described rotation, it was one of my focus pieces, one of my focus 8. And this one so happened to be the Ho 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 series by Stony Creek. And this is what the whole thing will look like done. Preview here of what it looked like last time. This is the block that I was working on. So the reindeer block. And I think I did okay. I think there was some time where I wasn't stitching as much as I had hoped, but that's okay. I got a little bit done here. So I got all of the white and silver for the entire candy cane, H done. And then I worked quite a bit of the top part of the O of the ornament. And I just love the blues. I love the way the blues are playing together. And the cute little reindeer antlers. Oh, I love this piece. It took a lot for me to not work on this for the holidays in July, but I decided to stick with the plan. And this fabric, which you may be able to see a little bit, showing the back of my work a little bit, it is a 32 count opalescent antique white Belfast from Zweigart. Love that. And as per usual, looking forward to getting back to it. Okay. Next, on Friday started my week 4, which is the alphabetic rotation through the rest of my whips, excluding my final 8 and my Heaven and Earth designs and my stitch-alongs. Okay, so Friday, I worked on the horror movie alphabet by Clouds Factory. You'll be seeing a clip here of what it looked like last time, as well as a preview image of what it will look like finished. I am stitching this on 32 count Lichens Moon by Under the Sea Fabrics, aka Dried Blood. And I got some pretty good progress done. I am still missing colors because I forgot to go get those. but I started, let's see, you can see Otis Driftwood here is mostly filled in, missing the red portion of his little jacket there. And then Pinhead is mostly done. I even did the back stitching so you can see the pins. Sorry to anybody who doesn't like horror movies, but you know, Pinhead, it's what it is. And there's a little red portion that's missing there. And then I worked up and did the name for Freddy Krueger and the green part of his sweater. Now here's the irony. The sweater for Freddy Krueger, it's a Christmas sweater. It's an iconic sweater for horror films, and it's red and like this kind of deep dark green. The red used for this particular one is Christmas red, which is DMC 666. So Freddy Krueger, Christmas sweater, 666. You just can't help but wonder if maybe DMC kind of, like, what gave them the idea to use that number? Anyway, love this. This is going to be so cool once it's done in like 5 years. I didn't have a whole lot of time to stitch on this either, but they go quick when I put some time into it. So that's that. This is going to come out probably for Halloween. Certainly for Halloween. Okay. Next, I worked on Jingles by Lizzy Kate, so you've seen that already. And then following that, I worked on the Cricket collection, again, July. And this piece, let's see, you'll be seeing a preview here of what it looked like last time. Here's what it will look like finished. Oh, whip, avalanche. And here is the progress that I made. So I basically focused in on the flag for the L, and then the vine and fence post there. So I got most of the extra bits. There's that word again, for the L done. I haven't finished the L yet because part of the reason that I was so burnt out with this design series is the letters. They're big. They take a while. So I just decided to focus on some of the fun stuff. So that's what I did there. This is on a 28 count Confederate gray cashel linen by Zweigart. I really like this linen and it feels nice. It's nice. Okay. Next, I worked on the Cricket collection. Do you see why I got a little bit burnt out? It's just like, it's all day, every day. Okay, maybe not every day. But next I worked on June. And this is what it will look like finished. And I'm not even going to insert a clip of where it looked like last time or an image because I can tell you what I did. Are you ready? That. I did the hedgehog. Which, oh my god, is he not adorable? Look at how cute! And I did all of his spines too. He's adorable. But that is literally all I did. I didn't even try to work on this as a whip on Monday. I was like, I'm gonna do the hedgehog, and then I quit. I'm done. Plus, I can't make any further progress over with the E here because I'm missing the colors for the cake, and I'm missing the color for the next flag and the bunting. And I was not about to do another U over here because I had just gotten done with the U on summer and the U on July. And August has 2 U's in it, and that starts on Monday. I'm going to try not to stitch a U because The U is particularly annoying because many of these letters, there's one leg that's a little bit thicker and then one leg that's a little bit thinner. But the U, both of them are the same width. Anyway, rant over. I do love these designs. I know that I'm whining and complaining about it, but I do love them. And so there's that. This one is being done on 32 count cream, Belfast by Zweigart. My, go-to fabric for just about, everything. Okay. Next, we have the final whip piece for last week. And that is Cottage Garden Samplings Maze Lily of the Valley. This was a Stitch Mania start. You'll be seeing a preview here of what it looked like last time. And here's what it will look like finished. This piece, you'll recall, I was obsessed with. Mania. I did not want to put it down. And this week was no different. I had a really hard time going to bed yesterday because I just wanted to keep working on it. So this is 32 count Platinum by Zweigart. And this is what I got done. So I got this sentence completed. In springtime, love is carried on the breeze. And then I got to work on the Lily of the Valley itself. So I did this leaf here. And then I'm going to fold it up and bring it in real close so you can see those delicate little lilies stitched in white there. Those will show up so much more once I get the rest of the vine and once I get the rest of the elements stitched in. So there's that. I absolutely love this. And I want to do the entire series. They have one for the entire year. It's a calendar. It's called My Garden Journal. So it's not a calendar, but there's one for every month. And I love it. I am stitching this one in all of the called for threads. So there's some Gentle Art Sampler and Classic Colorworks, as well as some DMCs in this piece. And just love that. I don't know when I'm going to get to it next, but who knows? We'll see. Okay. So that's it for whips from last week. Now let's talk about this upcoming week. So I have until the end of July to finish out my week 4. I'll take a quick sip here. And so I have a couple more whips for this rotation, this alphabetic rotation. The first of which I actually just peeked at because I left it on my frame. And I'm going to leave it there because I'm just going to insert a picture here. So my first whip for this upcoming week is the literary quotes. This one is by Jane Austen. And the designer is Emma Congdon, aka Stitch Rovia. I'm stitching it on 32 count Pastel Lilac Belfast. And I started this last week for the Crazy 7. So we'll see what I can get done. The cool thing is, and I haven't experienced this in like a year, it is the only piece that I'm working on today. Like I have freedom to just stitch. I'm in awe. So because I called it quits on It's a Sunshine Day, I don't have any other sales today. It's the only thing I have to work on. I might have a finish next week because I don't have to fuss with anything. I just have to stitch. It's beautiful. It's beautiful. So we will see what that what comes to be, so to speak, as of next week. So that is my first whip. And then tomorrow it's the same. I only have one project. I'm so excited. And that project is another of my Crazy 7 starts. And this one is from the Mill Hill I Love collection. And this one in particular is Love Coffee. And so I'm going to pull all of this stuff out so that I can show it to you. Here's what it looks like finished. Super cute. here is the progress that I've made on it so far. I could finish this tomorrow, you guys, because I don't have anything else going on. It's real. It's for real. Anyway, I love that. Very excited to get that work done tomorrow. Okay. Next, oh, I got that slipped in there. That never happens. Oh well, these are out of order, but whatever. Okay. Next, on Friday, again, no other stitch-alongs. So this is the only piece that I'm working on. This is a design that I started during Stitch Mania. And if I'm totally honest, it is up for the UFO bin. Well, maybe, we'll see. So I can't remember the name of the designer, but that information will be below here. And this is the monogram letter S that I purchased from Etsy. And I am stitching it using Weeks Dye Works Pumpkin and Classic Colorworks Razzleberry. And I'm stitching it on 28 count dark cobblestone Lugana. And that was the start that I got for Mania. The reason that I talk about this possibly being up for the UFO bin is that I don't know how I feel about the coverage. It's meh. So we'll see. I'm going to give it some more time on Friday and we'll see what kind of progress I can get done. Who knows, maybe I'll just stitch it and finish it. And then I'll have a little monogram S for my new last name. So there's that. Okay. Next on Saturday, I missed one. This is the one for Saturday. The one for Friday is May by the Cricut Collection. I'm getting there, you guys. Oh no, this one is not even Saturday. This is Sunday. Okay, so let's rewind a little bit. Friday, May by the Cricut Collection. In that pile, I showed it to you just a few minutes ago. Saturday is this design here. There we go, back on track. Okay, so this is another Mill Hill bead kit. This one is the Winter Holiday Collection, and this is Merry Moose. So here's what it will look like finished. Here is where I am at currently. Okay, so this is my project for Saturday. The monogram is my project for Sunday, and that will round out July, because that is July the 31st. Okay, so there, back on track. Sorry about that, you guys. Normally I have my notes, but I didn't do any notes because this week was kind of easy, but I did forget about May. Live and learn. Okay. Okay, that's not going in, so I will fix that later. Okay, so that concludes my whips for week 4 rotation. So then Monday begins week 1 again. And for week 1, as I talked to you guys about last week, my week 1 is stitch-alongs. So on the 1st, I will be starting August by the Cricut Collection. Yay! Which I don't have here to show, but I will show that to you next week. Then we have the first block in the Fantasy Stitch Along. This is designed by Doreen Jones, put together by Lakeside Needlecraft. Mine is being stitched on a 32 count Belfast linen in Heroic from Picture This Plus. Just a quick reminder of where I am at currently. And this first design is going in this circle right here. My expectation is that we may get this on Sunday, and I might start it early. So, anyway, there's that. And I may do some more border work. This is starting to call to me again, so I may start to do some more border work once that block is filled in. Okay, then the next stitch along is the Clouds Factory Postcards from the World. This one is being stitched on a 28 count Monet cashel from Picture This Plus. And again, a quick reminder of where it stood at the end of the July block. So there's that. We'll see where we're going next. Very exciting. There's that. And the other sow is the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery Pumpkin Passport, being stitched on Properly Primitive Belfast by Under the Sea Fabrics. And again, here's where it stood. And our last block was Giza. My expectation is that the Frosted Pumpkin Stitchery is totally going to stick Rio right there, because it's the start of the Olympics in August. But we'll see. I've been wrong before. Many a times. So that's it for Stitch Alongs week. And so next Wednesday I will show you the progress that I made. Okay. One other stitch along coming up this week on Sunday, July the 31st. A couple of humongous things are happening. Namely, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is being released. I finally got my update from Amazon about when mine should be delivered, and I will have mine on August 3rd. So I'm not going to get mine until next Wednesday, which is cool. It's fine. But in the meantime, Sunday is Harry Potter's birthday. So I thought, I need to work on a Harry piece. And I am ashamed to admit that I don't have any Harry Potter whips. That needs to be rectified now. So the project that I'm going to be working on Wednesday, on Sunday, for Harry's 36th birthday, is it is another Gryffindor crest. You guys will remember that I tried to do one from Stitchering off of Etsy, and I tried to do that, but I UFO'd it. I found another one, and I had a look at the pattern, and I really like this pattern, so I think that this one is going to work. And this is by Glazov Pattern on Etsy, and you'll be seeing a preview here of what it will look like finished. And I'm going to stitch it on the exact same fabric. This is a 30 count parchment linen. I think that I'm going to stitch it on this. Part of my issue may have been the linen. I don't know how I feel about Weeks Dye Works linens, but we'll see. And you can see I haven't ripped that out yet. I don't even know if it's going to fit on this, so I may be speaking nonsense at this point. But this is, as it stands with my plain currently, is 30 count parchment linen. Because parchment, Harry Potter, like, it all just goes together so well. So we'll see. So that will be on Sunday the 31st. Now let's talk plans for August. Yesterday, you may or may not have seen my Olympics plans, and so I'm not going to discuss that at this point. However, there's another Stitch Mania Stitch Along taking place in August, and it is the month-long Stitch Along All That Glitters. And so essentially the premise for this is to stitch on something that's sparkly. And so I found 4 different projects that qualify under that, and so I'm going to divide those up amongst the month. So I'm going to go through those really quickly. The first one I have here, these are in no particular order, by the way. The first one I have here is Graceful Reindeer. This is by Marie Barber. It is from the Just Cross Stitch November-December 2015 issue. I am stitching it on 32 count Rosewood by Picture This Plus, which is deeper than it is showing on camera. And this is the progress that I have made thus far for my Graceful Reindeer, and you can see his antler is quite sparkly. This design is predominantly Krenix, And so I will be working on the critics for this piece. So there's that. Okay. The next project is going to be a collection of projects, and that's going to be my bead kits because beads are sparkly. So, for instance, I've got Mary Moose that I can work on. I have, I think, 7 Mill Hill kits going right now, and so I'm just going to pick and choose whichever one I feel like working on. It may be Love Coffee because I will be probably pretty close to finishing that, and I'll probably be on the beads at that point. But we'll just kind of wait and see where it stands once I get there. Okay, then I have a piece that I just started for the Crazy 7. And this is qualifying because the fabric is opalescent. It's sparkly. And again, tempted to work on Ho 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 for this, but I've decided to go with Snow Queen because I got barely a start for the Crazy 7. This is Mirabilia's Snow Queen. I'm stitching it on 32 count opalescent Belfast in Darkness Falls from Under the Sea fabrics. And Darkness Falls, so darkness on top. You'd think I'd understand that. This is where I got to. Can you see it? Can you see that tiny little bit of stitching right there? Yeah, so I decided that I wanted to make some progress on this just because it's not going to get a whole lot of love this year. So may as well give it some time in the spotlight for all that glitters. And this is a very opalescent fabric. Can you see all of that spark? Oh, it's so pretty. So pretty. Okay. And last but not least, I have another design that qualifies under sparkly, and this is the Frosty Knot Garden. I better get this one worked on at some point during this month because I wanted to be beading at this point. It's not going to happen because I haven't worked on it since I said that. So yeah, this one qualifies because Petite Treasure Braid. I'm at a section right now where I'm working on the Petite Treasure Braid around the mountains. So if I just fill in this mountain and work some Petite Treasure Braid for all that glitters, it qualifies. I'll take it. So that is that. Now, the thing about this particular month-long stitch-along is that I'm formatting this one a little bit differently. Adapted from Katie the Stash Queen's month-long stitch-along sort of plans, she gives each of her 4 projects a full week. And so far, I've been doing something very similar. However, this coming month, I'm going to do things differently. The reason for that is that I don't want to be working on a million projects in a day. I don't like it. It makes me kind of... And with the Stitchy Olympics, the Summer Olympics event in Stitch Mania, and since I'm working on a different project every day for that, and I'm not putting my rotation on hold during this event, I'm already at a point where I'm working on 2 projects a day. Olympics, rotation piece. If I was to add this in, then that's 3 projects. And that's like practically over the edge of what I'm interested in at this point. So my All That Glitters pieces are going to be my whips on Saturday and Sunday. So essentially, my sals for week 1, let's say, they will be my whips Monday through Friday. Saturday and Sunday, I'm working on my first All That Glitters piece. We'll see if I can get 7 hours. I doubt it, but you never know. I might be able to put in 7 hours on each of these pieces for the All That Glitters, but that's just kind of, we'll see what happens. I just have to find a way so that I'm not working on so many projects. I shouldn't be so excited that I'm only working on 1 piece today. it shouldn't be that that kind of an experience for me. I don't want to be overwhelmed by stitching. I don't. So I'm not going to be. I'm reorganizing. So there we have it. And so that's all that I have as far as projects upcoming is concerned. I have a couple more things to talk about, but I'm going to pause here and reset, and I will be back in just a minute. Okay, so you guys remember in my tag where I talked about what reset means? This time it actually means that I had to get up and go get something because I forgot something, which I'll talk about in a second. But the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about is my retail therapy. And like I said, it's very small. I recently purchased three patterns from Etsy. All three of them came from Etsy. And you'll be seeing preview images over one of these sides here. The first is by Donna Stitch, and it is her newest, and this is the Frozen design piece. And this one is fantastic because it comes with two options. You can either stitch it so that Anna and Elsa are holding hands, or you can stitch it so that Anna and Kristoff are holding hands, which I think is kind of adorable. So that was the next piece. And then I also got a design by Connie G Designs. And this is called Flowering Flourish. If you watched my Stitch Mania Summer Olympics event plans yesterday, this is the design that I will be stitching for silver. And this is the one that I'm doing all in beads. So I'm pretty excited about it. And then the last pattern I showed you already, it is the Gryffindor Crest by Glazoff pattern. So that's it for retail therapy. All three of those shops will be linked in the description box, so you can go check them out. Glazoff pattern and Donna Stitch, I believe, are both running some promotions right now, so take a visit. Okay. The last thing that I have to talk about is very brief, and I just want to discuss a Stitchers Book Club, because we have reached the point where our books have been selected, and so I just kind of want to announce that so that if you are interested maybe in reading these books, come and join us, and we're going to have discussions about that. Let's be real here. I made the decision to expand out our book of the month to books of the month, so we're going to have 2 books. The reason for that, and it just happened to work out perfectly this month, our genre was mystery. And while we were voting, I noticed that 2 books in particular were edging out the rest quite a bit. And these 2 books are very different ends of the spectrum as far as mystery is concerned. One of them is a cozy mystery, and the other is, it's more of a thriller type mystery. They're very different, and I know that some people can be very particular about the mystery that they'll read. They will only read cozy mysteries, or they will only read thrillers. I am, I'll be honest, typically in the camp of only thrillers and only crime and intense mysteries. Cozy mystery I haven't had very much luck with in the past. So I thought, all right, well, let's expand this out. Let's expand it to 2 books. If you are somebody who can read 2 books in a month, no problem, then you can. If you were like, I am not even interested in that other book, I just want to read this one, then you can. If you don't want to read either, hey, that's cool. Nobody's forcing you to do anything. Essentially, I just kind of wanted to stretch it out to give more options. So I am going to read both books because I want to give Cozy Mystery another chance. And this other book I've been looking forward to since it released. So I have them both here. And the first one, the one that won overall our poll for the book, and to be honest, I shouldn't be surprised, but it is called The Quick and the Thread by Amanda Lee. And it is an embroidery mystery. This is the first book in a series. And it is a stitching shop owner who gets involved in this mystery. So I'm not going to read the back to you because even though it's really cutesy, I'm not going to take up that much time. So this is our first book. In this town, stitching can be deadly. Dun dun dun. Anyway, so this is our first book, and so we'll be reading this one here. It's 336 pages. However, I mean, the font's not too packed in there, so it should be a pretty quick read. The other book that was selected, and this one has been on my radar since it was released, is a chunker. It's a big book. The font is a little bit dense, but it's also aided by some pictures, which is cool. This is Night Film, and I'm going to attempt to pronounce that name. It is Marisha Pessel. And this book is, it's been blurbed by some pretty intense fiction thriller writers, such as Lee Child, who's a very popular author. Looking to see if there are any other recognizable authors here that blurbed it. Of course, the first blurbs are all starred reviews by various journals. And Jamie Lee Curtis, Scott Smith, Elizabeth Gilbert, Lee Child, Kirkus Reviews. Anyway, neither here nor there. So this is our second book. And I'm greatly looking forward to this. Now, the cool thing is that, yes, this is a chunker. It's over 600 pages. However, it is available on Audible. I know that a lot of libraries have it available in their own digital, what am I trying to say here? Checkout of the audiobook. So you can listen to this one, which is fantastic. This one is not on Audible. Just to let you know. But this one you could stitch and listen to. I'm going to read it because I like to actually physically read a book if I'm going to read it for the first time. And there's some interesting creepy pictures in here. Is that a clown? Ooh, that's a creepy clown. Okay, I'm going to put that down. So those are our books, and so I will be opening up some discussion threads here pretty quickly, probably once this is done uploading, in the group. The group is linked below. Again, I am still blanket approving everybody at this point. I may change it so that the group is searchable on GoodReads. At this point, it's not. But I may update that because why not, right? And the poll for September's genre is going to go up here pretty soon. So be on the lookout for that. If you have any questions about the book club, feel free to either comment here or send me a message through YouTube or on GoodReads. My GoodReads profile is always linked below, so you're more than welcome to contact me. And so yeah, that's all I've got to say about A Stitcher's Book Club. I feel compelled to mention it here because lots of people talk about books that they're reading on their channels, but I also feel guilty about trying to talk about it on my channel because I am stitching focused. I don't want to step on any cross-stitch group toes, but I want to make sure that stitchers know about the group. So that's my spiel. I'm going to go drink the rest of my coffee and get editing and cleaning up this disaster here. And I'll probably catch a few more Pokemon, and I will see you guys next week. Be sure to come and visit my channel next week. That's all I'm going to say. All right. I will talk to you guys then. See you later. Bye. Sorry, guys. I have to do something here. I have to catch Pokemon. Oh, that's not showing. Sorry for the glare. I've got to catch this real quick. It's a 609 pincer. I need it. And I'm going to do it here on camera with you. And I'm probably not going to edit this out because real life. And I'm kind of just a little bit Pokemon obsessed. This is a problem. Okay, if I don't catch him on this one, then I'm giving up. Okay, that was a terrible throw. Let's try this one. Oh. Nice. Okay, are you ready? 3 wiggles. You guys want to know if I caught him? Gotcha. Okay, sorry. All right, I'm going to try not to let that happen on camera anymore. Okay.